Okay, this one is tricky. Your pre-calc book is full of these things, and it's what they want you to do is to get an understanding of graphs. This is something, I went to the bio department once and I asked them, what do you need our students to know from our math classes? And they pretty much went through the book and said, actually the most important thing is the graphs, understanding how the graphs all connect. So, for example, if you're running one experiment and you're running another experiment, you want to know how these graphs are different. And so in some ways, it's just getting you familiar with what happens when you move things around in the expressions. So they have two expressions here. They have h of x equals 2x, and they have an h of f of x equals 2x plus 3 within the exponent with a minus 4 on the outside. And they want to know really, what's the difference between these two? That's the real question. The reason it's asked in the way it is because it's a Webassign question with multiple choice, and they have to ask you this way. So really, the easiest way to do this is just plot some points and get a feel for how those points are getting changed. So I took x equals 0, I plugged it in for the original graph, and I plugged it in for everything but the minus 4, and then I plugged in the total. I just want to see what each action does to change those numbers. Because for me, it's easier to look at the numbers than it is to look at graphs. I think the purpose is that they actually want you to graph the two and see the difference by looking at the graphs. But once you look at the numbers, it's kind of clear what's going on. So I just punched in a few numbers, plotting x's and getting y's. That's right in college, right? To get y's? That's a nod to Ted Williamson, who's the other pre-calc teacher. He tells horrible jokes.
X plus 3 is the exponent.
Right.
And then -4.
Minus 4. And then you just look how the numbers are changing. Like crunch out the numbers. I copied it, so you don't have to worry about flipping back to the thing. So there's that table. And I just plotted those points and try to figure out how they're changing. So the red were the original points, and the blue is the 2x plus 3. And I can see that the trend is exactly the same. It looks like this one, though, is further along than this one. Right? This is going up like earlier. And just so you can see the minus 4 added to it, the 2, I just plotted those points. So the x and the y's. And I plotted them in different colors. You can use triangles, just like Excel. You guys use Excel in your bio classes. So you can do the first plot will be triangles, and the second one will be dots, so you can see the difference. And what I can see is this minus 4, it's just dropping these blue points down by 4. So I already can tell you something. That the act of minus 4 just takes the original point and drops it by 4. So I know something. So let me go to my multiple choice list. That's not a really nice graph, but you can kind of see the trend.
Yeah, the second one. The second one,
2 cubed times, I was just looking for patterns. 2 cubed times 2 to the 1, I'm using a law of exponents.
So the other one is 2, 1 plus 3.
B to the m times b to the n is b to the m plus n. So I'm splitting it back apart. That's all I'm doing. I'm just looking at it to see if I can see what it's scaled by or something. Yeah. I'm looking for a pattern in the numbers. And I automatically did that. That's why it's sitting there. So I can see that it shifts those points down by 4. Let me go back to the Webassign. I can start crossing some things out. It's not going up, so I can cross out 3 units upward, 4 units upward. I'm going to cross out that last one, but I know that it's either got to be the one I circled or the very last one, because I know that those points were shifted down 4, right? So it can't be any of the upward movements. So out they go. That leaves me 2 choices left. Well, is it going to be shifted to the left or shifted to the right? The other graph was going, let's go back and look at it. The other graph was further along. these points were further along. So if I went back in time, I would be back where this was. So it's this graph shifted left. I can see these points would have been back lower down here, right? So it's exactly these same points, but they're ahead of the game. So it can't be shifted right, it's got to be shifted left. So I'm a little cheating. I'm going through the multiple choice and saying it cannot be this one, it cannot be this one, and that cannot. And exactly that's what happened. So it can't be this one. So it must be, it shifted to the left by 3, because the 4 is already taken, right? Shift downwards, and it shifts downward. Let me see.